I'm sure that most of you have already heard the story of Sherry Harlan, who was viciously murdered and dismembered by her ex-boyfriend Eric James Christensen. Now, this shit happens all the time. I'm sorry, it does. Unfortunately, for anyone who considers themselves to be Wiccan, pagan, or witch, this should take precedence over any other news story like it that you hear. This is the reason. Christensen, the murderer, said that he and his ex-girlfriend had entered into a quote-unquote Wiccan blood oath. He described the oath to police officers as being a ceremony where you promise to do or not do various things. You then seal the deal by pricking a finger, getting some of your blood, and burning it with incense. Apparently they do various incantations, make the oath, and purify the circle. According to Christensen, back in ancient times, if you broke a blood oath, the penalty could be death. The only good news from this story, if you can call it that, is that the lead prosecutor has the brains to actually do some research. And to quote him, "As far as I can tell at this moment, the dismemberment appears to have been an effective aid in disposing of the body. I have not found, though, in any of the literature I've read about the Wiccan religion that it is connected to it in any way." What he is saying is, even though Christensen calls himself a Wiccan, the prosecutor can find absolutely no evidence to back up that what he did to his ex-girlfriend is actually connected to the religion whatsoever. First of all, in order to nullify this man's association or affiliation with Wiccan or witchcraft in general, no denominations belonging to either category advocate the practice of violence to animals or human beings for any reason whatsoever. Says Peter Stephan Moore, a former Wiccan and current witch from Pennsylvania. The main tenet of Wicca is called the Wiccan Rede, and it is, "And it harm none, do what thou wilt." It basically means, so long as no one is harmed through your actions, the pursuit of your will, whether it be destiny, purpose, etc., is encouraged. There are no extenuating circumstances or rationalizations to this rule. Modern Wiccans do not believe in acts of vengeance or engaging in any activity that would impede another's actions. He goes on to say that even though there are oaths in both witchcraft and ceremonial magic, there are no blood oaths in Wicca. And even assuming that there were, no Wiccan would advocate the type of oath he's claiming that his ex-girlfriend took. Wiccans do not believe in the binding of one's love to death do us part. Any taking of such blood oaths as he described was most likely taken only to pacify his insecurities. He dismembered the body in an attempt to conceal his crime. Now he chooses a minority religion whose beliefs and principles are not universally known and understood as a scapegoat for his emotional insecurities and the resulting selfish brutalities. He is no different than any other guy who got jilted and wants to make his ex pay the price. Christensen found his justification, his own version of "the bitch made me do it," because she violated her religious vow to him of remaining true to him, to be his one and his only. So that's pretty much the story. Christensen claims that he killed his ex-girlfriend because she broke a sacred Wiccan blood oath. That's like me saying I killed my husband because he broke a sacred Catholic blood oath. There's no such thing. Could Christensen have considered himself a Wiccan? Yes. But I can call myself Superman if I want. Doesn't mean that I can leap over tall buildings in a single bound. Anyway, the point is just because this guy calls himself a Wiccan does not mean that he represents the Wiccan community, or the pagan community, or etc. So please, before you judge the pagan, Wiccan, or witch communities, consider for a moment how you would feel if you were typecast based on one nutjob who claims to be from your religion. Just one final thought real quick. As I said in the video, I don't think it would fly if, if I said I killed my husband because he broke a sacred Christian blood oath, because there's no such thing. Don't you think the courts would bring in the local, Baptist or Catholic or etc. priest to say, no, there's no such thing, that's not part of the marriage ceremony, that's not part of our traditions, etc. So I'm hoping that the courts will bring in a Wiccan or pagan specialist, someone who has a background in the religion, and not like 2 months background, I mean like years, to testify and say, on behalf of us Wiccans, pagans, and witches worldwide, that this is not part of our beliefs, that Christensen is misrepresenting us, and his crime has nothing to do with religion. So, please don't lessen his sentence because he claims it was something to do with his religion, because it really wasn't. Thank you.